Hey, hey, welcome or welcome back. It is, as always, good to see you today. And it is Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday, I think. Hopefully, you all can hear me. Um, did I stream yesterday? I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. Um, yeah, I showed you guys the bird nest, the bird that was in my dryer vent. Um, Hello, my YouTube wife, Sai. So good to see you, my dear. Thank you always. Hello, DV. Good afternoon. Hello, Mars. Good evening. Hello, Lizzie. Good afternoon. It is good to see you all. I hope you're all having a good day. Hope it's a good midweek day for you here. we having some stuffiness. The allergies are not having it. The pollen is out in force this week in Missouri. But um Amberlyn had her live stream last night, her members only live, and I was working during it, so I missed things here and there, but um one of the big things that came up during the live was pretty early on. People started asking her about like a comment that Erica had made. Um so I hadn't heard of this or seen it yet, so I had to look for it. And I found a screenshot of it that I took a screenshot of. I don't know who took the screenshot, who to give credit to, and I don't know where this comment was. Hello, Lizzie R. Um, I believe the comment was left on somebody's video they did about Amber Lynn's video, talking about people being obsessed with her, primarily Brittany being obsessed with her. But Erica was making a lot of different accusations in this post. I guess I put it in my Discord. I guess I can actually pull it up here. Um, why don't you do that instead, Libby? Here we go. We'll just pull this over here. And Amber Lynn was. What am I clicking on? I'm trying to mess in the stream. All right. Hey, Aaron. Hope you're doing well. Don't know if you guys can see this, but the post. So Amber Lynn was not happy about this post. She was kind of pissed that Erica was making all these allegations, and she basically said the entire thing was a lie. Um, so the post starts out saying, I think I'll say what I need to say. By the way, did you let Rarity loose because you claim she scratched your leg and gave you cellulitis? Yet you refused doctor's orders for the skin cream? Are you not calling person your stepdad anymore because he keeps making inappropriate comments to you at bingo, touching your leg and saying creepy things as you claimed? Or is he still staring down your shirt in front of your mother at bingo? Oh, how's Twinkie? Are you still demanding her to give you her paw before you feed her? Is she still pissing in your bathroom? How is your mom? Have you two had any fights because she won't choose you over the man she plans to marry? Are you still yelling at her in the car ride she gives you? I'm hoping she gave you a ride to the dentist. I know that cracked half tooth is painful, considering the fact you thought you didn't need a regular cleaning nor floss, since just brushing should do all of that as you claimed. All of this over a sweatshirt of now multiple pictures of other people are wearing. You won't ever change. No one can ever love you simply because you dig your claws into every fiber and breath of the person you've chosen to manipulate. So first I want to say, really rich of Erica to be talking about manipulation, and the claim, oh, Amber manipulated me into having feelings for her. Bullshit. You blew up your own damn relationship because you and Erica decided to play stupid. You and Brittany decided to play stupid games. Um, so Amberlynn addressed all of these, and I don't believe Amberlynn let Rarity out. And so Rarity wouldn't have scratched Amberlynn and gave her cellulitis. It would have been, and I think this did happen years ago, that Rarity would have scratched Amberlynn, and then Amberlynn got cellulitis through that open wound through the scratch, because Amberlynn picks at scabs. She has excoriation, and she's probably picking at the scab and wouldn't let it heal, and it probably got infected through cellulitis. And skin cream isn't going to treat cellulitis. You have to have an antibiotic. So I don't know what Eric is talking about for that. Amberlynn said all these things about her stepdad are not true. She said that Erica would get very jealous about anybody even being near her or standing next to her. And that she has screenshots of things to prove this. Amberlynn said that she had worn blush to bingo one night, and she doesn't usually wear blush apparently at that time. And her stepdad, her mom's fiance, said that she looked good, that it looked nice on her. He was just giving her a compliment. Oh, you're walking Gus. Oh, Gus. Oh, that fat cat. He's so cute. As far as her mom, Amberlynn says she doesn't fight with her mom, and there's no issues with her mom choosing her fiance over Amber. I've never seen any issues with this either. Demanding Twinkie to give her paw before her feeder. We've seen Amberlynn ask for Twinkie's paw before giving her a treat, but not before feeding her. So it's a lot of people do that with their dogs or pets. Like, oh, give me your paw. Oh, turn around. Oh, do whatever. Do your little fun trick we've taught you. Here's your treat. So that's nothing unusual for people to do with dogs. And it's not just the sweatshirt. Brittany makes multiple posts on her Instagram making reference to Amberlynn, and I don't understand it. I really don't. You claim this person blew up your marriage instead of blaming your wife and yourself because you encouraged this. You blame everybody but the person that should be blamed, and that's Erica. And I could have sworn that Erica and Brittany got divorced. So I don't know why Erica's coming to Brittany's defense in this comment. And let's see. You won't ever change. Yeah, that could be possible. Amberlynn may never change. No one can ever love you. That's a bit harsh. Simply because you dig your claws into every fiber and breath of the person you've chosen to manipulate. Amberlynn does try to take control of the person, but to be coming from Erica, again, like I said, that's very rich. Considering what we've seen of everything that happened with Erica and Brittany and that whole situation. Trying to blame Amber for it, and they were the ones that were trying to manipulate and troll and ended up playing themselves and screwing themselves over. So Amberlynn said that most of this is Erica either taking things either just way out of context or Erica's own jealousy is basically what Amberlynn has said. She did say that her tooth is sore. She does need to go to the dentist. She does need to do that. But everything else, she said, is pretty much not true. And Amberlynn was getting pretty pissed about it, about these things that Erica was saying, and I would say with good reason. Making these kind of comments about Amberlynn's mom's fiance would be uncalled for. So, Aaron says, reminds me of the time my dog licked my fresh tattoo and it got infected. So, oh, yeah, that would be painful. Mars says all clown behavior. Lizzie says, I'm sure Erica said that about Rarity because she knew the community would take that and run with it. Absolutely. People would be like, oh yeah, I knew Amberlynn did this. And Erica's just saying, oh, did you do this? Erica has no proof of anything. I mean, if Erica wants to prove these things by showing screenshots of messages or anything, but I don't know if she deleted their messages or what. You're shocked that I pronounced the T in dentist? You were expecting a Midwestern dentist? Yeah, I typically try to pronounce words correctly when I can. I'm not a redneck and I'm not a hick, Lizzie R. Just because my ancestry is. Uh, yeah, I don't know about these things. I would take anything really that Erica or Brittany say with a grain of salt, just given their history and how they've behaved. But let's see what else happened in the live stream. Oh, Amberlynn brought up Beck briefly. Um, again, she mentioned the 4-letter name that could like ruin Beck. She threatened that again. This thing is very wrong. They don't pull a half tooth. Did Amberlynn say that they pulled a half tooth? Or was that in the cracked half tooth is painful? They don't pull. What do you mean they don't pull a half tooth? If Amberlynn has a cracked tooth that's damaged, they would remove it if she would go to the dentist, I'm sure, or they would repair it. You're getting your thigh worked on. Yes, Amberlynn said half tooth. She said half tooth. I was working during this, so sometimes I miss a few things. Yeah. If it's a half tooth, so but it depends. I think what direction she means halved. If it's this way, it might have like cracked this way, and the reason it might hurt is there's probably nerves exposed. If it's like a horizontal crack. So, so that would be painful. But I don't know what you mean by they wouldn't pull it. She alluded to them only removing half of a tooth. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't remove the entire tooth. Unless it was an accident. Maybe they thought they got all of it and there was still some beneath the gums. I mean, sometimes dentists screw up. Yeah. I must have missed that part of it. I don't know why they would do that either. Why they wouldn't remove the entire tooth unless it was a mistake. And I don't know why she won't go back to the dentist to get that taken care of. Stitch and Stream ALR probably has no idea. Yeah. That's probably my guess too, Heather. They don't, that Amber doesn't really know what they did and is guessing. Possibly prepping for more work. It could be. They may have been prepping it for a crown, possibly, and maybe she didn't go back. She said Feline thought it was weird at the time because it was only half a tooth. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of possible scenarios without us actually looking inside Amber's mouth or going to the dentist, because you can't always rely on Amberlynn to relay information completely correctly, especially something from what, 3-4 years ago. Sorry, I have a work text message. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Oh no, I got a telegram message for work. I must be selling illegal substances because I'm on Telegram. Isn't that how it works when you're on Telegram? Um, let's see, what else does she talk about in the stream? Let me try to think here. I just finished working a little bit ago, and I'm still getting work messages, so I'm trying to get into the girl world mode, get into the Amberverse here. Um, she was drinking some White Claws. Um, you find it weird that folks don't ask more questions during medical dental stuff. I think because it could just be because they're completely trusting the medical professional, and or they may not know what to ask at the time, because you're kind of there in the moment. You're like, I don't know what to ask. Um, yeah, she had a couple of White Claws towards the end. She was getting a little. She was getting a little tipsy, and was just saying all kinds of stuff. I really probably should have listened to her live stream again while I was working to stitch and stream. I was added to a Signal chat, and all I got were government secrets. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting a message about the next air raid. Um, yeah, I can't remember. I'm sorry. I should have written some notes down. But her live stream wasn't that thrilling, apparently. I think that was the most excitement. If I think of something else later, I will let you know. But Heather, I'm too poor to ask. Yeah, really. If you ask questions, I might want to do more. Um, but we have this video from Amberlynn uploaded today, titled "I Need to Make Something Very Clear," and weigh in episode 3. Oh yes, Lizzie. Yes, I must have blocked that out. So thank you so much for bringing it back to me. Yeah, people seem to be weirdly interested in Amber's nether regions and what she does with it. I don't. Lots of Dainty Bush mentioning, which you should come join the Dainty Bush Club over on Discord. Um, and people they kept asking Amber questions about smexy time things, and I don't know why. I don't know why people are so interested in Amberlynn's private life and her nether regions. I don't know why people are so concerned about this, and I don't know why people are so concerned with her hygiene habits to ask her exes. Yeah, I apparently tried to block that out, so thank you, Lizzie, for for bringing it back. Um, that's sarcasm, by the way. But yeah, if you do happen to be new here, I do speed Amberlynn up to 1.25 because she does speak a little too slowly for me. Let me make sure I actually did it. Oh, we have 9 audio tracks. What do we have? English, French, German, Hindi, Indonesian, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and Spanish. Hey, if it were, Portugal Portuguese, we could listen to Amber in the language of her ancestors. We can sing the song of her people. What she sound like in Italian?
Ciao, ciao, benvenuti a un nuovo video di pesata, il numero 3 per l'esattezza. Oggi è l'8 aprile di martedì. Quindi, all'inizio dei miei video di pesata, rispondo a 5 domande che mi avete fatto su Instagram.
Oh, and I have her sped up. Hold on. Can't have her sped up in Italian.
Quindi, iniziamo. Vi sono venute in mente le domande di riflessione alimentare che vi ponete alla fine dei vostri video su cosa ho mangiato oggi? Sì, mi sono venute in mente.
I wonder if they use AI to do the translations and to do
Mi
the
piace molto.
dubbing,
Ciao.
or if people actually sit there and record. It's probably AI, because to have all 9 of those, or to have all 8 of those languages done in the time that she uploaded, that's pretty quick. Oh, sorry. Let me change her back to English, because I do not speak Italian, even though I want to learn it. You want it in French, Lizzie R?
Bonjour, bonjour, bienvenue dans une nouvelle vidéo de pesée. Troisièmement, pour être précis, aujourd'hui, nous sommes mardi 8 avril. Au début de mes vidéos de pesée, je réponds à 5 questions que vous m'avez posées sur Instagram. Alors, commençons. Avez-vous trouvé?
All right, well, if you want to learn a foreign language, you can use Amberlynn videos to practice your listening. Listen to Amberlynn in multiple languages. All right, do I have... I'm going to put her back on 1.25 speed.
Hello, welcome to a new weigh-in video, number 3 to be exact. Today is April 8th on a Tuesday. So in the beginning of my weigh-in videos, I answer 5 questions that you guys have asked me on Instagram, so let's get into it. Did you come up with the food for thought questions that you ask yourself at the end of your What I Ate Today videos?
Yes, those are questions from herself. She sounds more eloquent in French. I think Amber would sound more eloquent in any other language. Plus, it's somebody else doing the speaking. It's not Amberlynn, of course, right? So she is going to sound more eloquent in French.
Yes, I did. I really love doing stuff like that. Like, my dream still is to come out with a guided journal. I think that would be so freaking awesome. I love to not only answer questions, but I love to ask them as well. Why don't you count the food that you have out as ordering takeout? Because this specific bowl was
from Uber. That's what I thought. Because we've noticed she's not counting the food. She's not counting food when she goes out as takeout, and she absolutely should be. She shouldn't only be counting it as having something delivered. So if she's out with her mom and they go through a drive-through, she's not counting that as getting takeout. She's not counting that as takeout, and that's making her goal, in my opinion, kind of disingenuous. With the I'm gonna have takeout at most 3 times this week. Okay, she orders Uber Eats twice, but she goes out to dinner with her mom, or then goes out to bingo like twice and eats out. I think there should be some more clarification. Mars guided journal from Amber. How much anxiety did you have today? I had all the anxiety. All of it.
Was about my relationship with ordering takeout food. It has honestly been a very
Sorry. Whenever I pause and start it back up again, I can't hear her. I don't know if you guys can, but there's a couple of seconds of silence, so.
Why don't you count the food that you have out as ordering takeout? Because this specific goal was about my relationship with ordering takeout food. It has honestly been a very bad habit that I have dealt with every day for years. I have relied on it for convenience, out of boredom, just because I wanted to. I was too lazy to cook. And these are all the things that I am trying to actively work on. And going to have a meal with my mom at bingo, or if we go out to eat, I would still, for my other meal, come home and order takeout. Like, Uber has just been like one of my worst habits, like truly one of my very worst habits. So this goal was for me to improve in that.
Okay, so I can see that if she's at home, she's trying to make herself cook food at home and not order delivery. Is what it seems to be. But if she's out and about and doesn't have the ability to cook the food at home, then she's not counting that as her takeout. I understand that she's trying to not restrict. She's not trying to restrict it too much, because then she'll go overboard with it, but I would still think she should take anytime she's at like bingo maybe, because you're out, you've been there for hours and hours, you don't really have many other options. Maybe not count the bingo as a takeout, but if you're going out, like whenever she went out for lunch with her mom and they got the Mexican food, she didn't count that as takeout. I think she should, but that's, of course, that's just my opinion. But it seems to make the goal, it's setting the bar pretty low. I mean, because she could be like, yeah, Mom wants to go out to eat today. This is going to be one of my takeout meals. So I can order takeout at home 2 more times this week if I want to. So she's just giving herself more leeway to order delivery for home, if that makes sense. Mars, maybe she should focus on how many meals she's prepared herself. That's a good idea. You know, hey, I'm going to cook, you know, if we count breakfast, lunch, dinner, this week I'm going to cook 15 meals at home. You know, and that leaves 2 days that she could order some meals at minimum, you know. What if she just deletes the Uber Eats app? Well, let's not, yeah, like Lizzie said, let's not get crazy. Don't get crazy. So it's, oh, excuse me. I think the goal is it's a little misleading. Mars, like 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, how many were cooked at home? Yeah. I think that's a good idea, to kind of see how many times she's cooking at home instead of going out to eat. When she does eat it, whenever she does eat the meal. And I don't know, oh, sorry about that pause face. But again, oh, bye, Erin. Have a good afternoon. Still don't know if she's doing the intermittent fasting. I don't know if she is, because she would be shifting those hours, it seems like.
Going out and having a meal at bingo habits. So this goal was for me to improve in that. Going out and having a meal at bingo, or having a meal wherever with my mom, that's about like connection and spending time. While Uber was definitely not about that. Uber was about convenience and the fact that I'm lazy and the fact that I'm addicted to ordering takeout from my app, having it delivered to my home. The problem I'm actively targeting is stopping that, or at least lessening it drastically. I'm not going to sit here and take away having a meal with my mom at bingo, because that's not the issue. That's not what's going to make me gain weight. That's not what.
No, and I think people were just confused, because most of us consider anytime you're eating outside of the house as takeout. And she had said her goal was to only have takeout 3 times, and we're seeing like 4 and 5 times. Once you add in the going out to eat at a restaurant, and then the bingo, and then the Uber Eats, we're seeing like 4, 5, 6 times. So I think that's where the confusion is coming in from the audience. Hey, Fiona's mom. Hope you're having a good day. I would still think that she would want to count at least the restaurant meals, maybe not bingo, but at least the restaurant meals, towards that takeout number. And then, like Mars said, kind of focus on how many meals she's making at home. Connection with people doesn't have to revolve around eating, especially when your addiction is food. Yeah. Lizzie says, when she puts it like that, making the habit of delivery the issue, not the food necessarily, that makes more sense. Yeah. If she makes the issue having it be the delivery being the issue because she just doesn't want to make food, and having it be the issue of when she's at home, she needs to cook food at home, then that would be a clearer goal to have. If I'm home, I'm going to cook my meals at home, except for at most 3 times. Yeah, but it's like in the US, Mars, that's what a lot of, like, we'll go out to brunch or go have lunch because you have to eat, right? And it's a good way to just sit down, have a meal, enjoy time with somebody. So it's, I mean, food is having a meal with friends, like, hey, let's go have dinner, or hey, let's go have drinks. It's super common in the US for that to be a way to spend time with people. But just simply because you have to eat. So she wouldn't have the ice cream with her mom, but she'll have a starter and a main and bread with her. Yeah, not getting the ice cream cone for like the 168 calories that it was. Granted, I don't know where they were going for an ice cream cone. I said McDonald's, but I think that was a little, maybe not too restrictive, but if Amberlynn was just kind of like, I don't really want an ice cream cone, but, you can get one. But again, you don't have to have an ice cream cone, right? You don't have to. I mean, I guess you don't have to go out to eat either, but if you're out the entire day, you're going to be hungry at some point, and you're going to want to go get something to eat, right?
It's causing laziness, and it's never out of boredom. I'm not trying to overhaul everything in my whole life and just wake up overnight and be like, I cannot even eat out. I cannot eat with my mom at bingo. Nope, not allowed. So my goal was to pick something that is like drastically making it to where I don't reach my goals at all. And that is what I'm targeting, like mentally and emotionally. Ordering takeout from my Uber Eats and having it delivered to me daily for years and years, sometimes twice a day, is very unhealthy. That is what is ultimately holding me back the most. Will you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Cutting down from ordering delivery 12 times a week, cutting that down to like 3 times a week. I would say for Amberlynn, that's a good goal. For the rest of us, it'd be like, oh, I'm going to order out once this week. Maybe twice if I'm feeling frisky. But for Amberlynn, I'm gonna lessen my ordering out to 3 times a week. For Amberlynn, that's not a bad goal to have. For the rest of us, it's like, what? And it's just because of her history, just because of the history that she's had with ordering takeout multiple times a day.
Start a GoFundMe for us supporters to help you go to inpatient.
Oh God, no. Do you know how much shit she would get if she started a GoFundMe for supporters to help her go to inpatient? Oh no, that would be a horrible idea.
Absolutely not. I would never in my life start a GoFundMe. There's like multiple reasons for that, but the biggest one is like, I don't want other people to use their money for something that I should be saving for myself. If you want to donate to someone, donate to a cause or a person that actually genuinely needs that money. How do you feel about?
Yeah. Stitch says, Jesus, 12 times a week is such a money suck. I cannot even do once a month. 3 times a week for a $2 iced on campus iced coffee. Yeah. That's only applies to you, Lizzie R. Yeah, 12 times a week. Well, remember, Stitch, she was saying, you know, back when she was with Wifey, $3,000 a month on takeout. Don't know if she's making as much on YouTube as she used to, Lizzie R. But yeah, she should be able to save a little bit.
About fat jokes. So I make a lot of fat jokes about myself. I don't know if you guys know that about me,
myself.
But I do. And that is something I've always done. I've had a couple people in my life who didn't like it. They didn't like hearing me do it. They thought
Yeah, I have people that don't like when I do it either. My dietitian being one of them. Sai and Heather both. Here in the chat being a couple of other people.
It's something I've always done. I've had a couple people in my life who didn't like it. They didn't like hearing me do it. They thought I was being rude to myself. I've had cancer, so if I want to make a uterine cancer joke, I'm allowed to do it because I suffered through it. Or if I want to make a foster care joke, or just anything that is like something that happened to me or is me.
I want to clarify, making those jokes about herself would be okay, in my opinion. Making them about somebody else, just because she's gone through it, I don't think it'd be okay.
I feel like I'm allowed to do that, but if I see like a skinny person make a fat joke, or if I hear someone who's never had cancer make a cancer joke, it's like, bro, you don't have the right to do that. So that I don't think is okay. Why did you say no to having an ice cream cone with your mom if you allow yourself to eat those things anyway? Because I hadn't even ate that day, so I know if I had an...
Y'all know what I'm gonna say. Eaten. I had not eaten
ice cream cone as my first meal, then that was going to spiral my whole day. It's about the headspace.
So having an ice cream cone as the first meal would spiral her day. I guess in Amber's mind, oh, bye Lizzie. Have a good afternoon. We'll see you in Discord. I guess having the ice cream, starting her day with like a dessert type thing, like an ice cream cone, like a sweet treat, probably wouldn't be a good idea. Why is Twinkie making out with the couch? With the sofa? Oh no, is Twinkie licking the sofa? Twinkie licks her paws a lot. And I think I haven't had a dog since I was like 5 years old, but I thought I've heard or like read somewhere that if dogs are like licking their paws a lot, there could be like a skin condition or something. They could be having like a skin condition or a rash or something that's just I don't know. Or I don't know, maybe Twonk just likes to lick her paws a lot.
Space that I go into eating as my first meal, then that was going to spiral my whole day. It's about the headspace that I go into eating a certain thing. Like, yes, I will allow myself to have an ice cream cone, but definitely not as my first meal. Twinkie keeps moving. I'm sure you guys have noticed. Like, she...
Yeah, we can see her running around back there. Oh, little Twinkie is looking a little older. I think she's put on a few little pounds.
Has gone from behind me to this side to everywhere, so don't mind that, sorry. This is her world. I simply just live in it, okay? All right, so let's talk about the 4 goals that I had this week. So the first one was only order takeout 3 times a week, drink 2 water bottles a day, log all of my calories on Noom, even if I go over, and do intermittent fasting where I can only...
So she is doing intermittent fasting. Son of dogs looking. Yeah, I don't like that sound either. They got hot spots, or it could be nerves. Okay, so Twinkie is a Chihuahua. Chihuahuas are nervous little shits. So maybe that is it.
Bottles a day, log all of my calories on Noom, even if I go over, and do intermittent fasting where I can only allowed to eat in an 8-hour window and I don't get to eat for 16 hours. So as for ordering takeout 3 times a week, I ordered sushi on Thursday and I also ordered sushi on Sunday, and that is...
The Thursday sushi was what we saw. Intermittent. Hey, she's trying to say it correctly. She's trying. What did she call it? Oh my god, what did she call it last time she was doing this? Oh my gosh, she said it really wrong last time. Not like intermittent, no. Did she call it intimate fasting? But yeah, intermittent. It's in the mitten fasting. It's because you're British and you say things weird. Intermittent. Now I don't know how to say it. Y'all got me messed up. Intermittent fasting. Intermittent. Remember, I am from the Midwest. According to Lizzie R., I'm a redneck and should be pronouncing all of my words incorrectly. So, intermittent.
The only 2 times that I ordered takeout. So sushi on Thursday, and I also ordered sushi on Sunday, and that is the only 2 times that I ordered takeout. So it was 2 times this week.
Stitch. Stitch says my dry spell is now intimate fasting. Girl, you and me both. I've been fasting for years. Mars, British slander. Well, you can take your aluminium and your, see, how do you say it? Advertisement.
What? So I was successful in my goal. Drink 2 water bottles. Yes, I did it. I did it every single day, and it's literally becoming such a habit for me. I do not allow myself to drink anything until I have drank those 2 water bottles.
Y'all know what I'm gonna say. You know I'm gonna correct her grammar here. Until I have drunk. It's the pluperfect form coming after the helping verb has. It should be drunk. The simple past form of drink is drank. I drank 2 bottles of water yesterday. I have drunk 3 bottles of water in the past 2 days. I have drunk. I drank. I drink. And your bangers and mash and get out of here. And all of your baked beans and toast. Your silly British breakfast. Can I be your English teacher? No. I taught ESL for a year. I have drunken a bottle of wine. If you are drunk, maybe you've drunken a bottle of wine.
And now it's just like literally a habit. I don't even think I need it to be a goal anymore. As for logging all my calories every single day, and it's literally becoming such a habit for me. I do not allow myself to drink anything until I have drank those 2 water bottles. And now it's just like literally a habit. I don't even think I need it to be a goal anymore. As for
well, good for you, girl. Look at that. You've turned it into a habit.
Logging all my calories on Noom, no matter what. Did I do that? Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Wait a minute. The way she's looking, I don't know. She's not making eye contact with us. She's averting her eyes. Did she really track all of her calories? Look us in the camera lens, Amber.
And one of those days, oh God, I hated it. And what I hated even more was stepping on the scale the next day. It was not pretty, I'll tell you that.
So was it a day that you had a lot of sodium? Maybe the day after bingo? Maybe you were just holding some water. So, well, she weighs in on Tuesdays. Apparently, she's taught herself, Lizzie R. She's a self-taught water drinker.
And did I do intermittent fasting? No, I didn't. Day 1, I realized I am forcing myself to eat when I'm not hungry, but then I'm not allowed to eat when I am. I can't do that. So that's the only goal I was unsuccessful on.
Yeah. Work with a dietitian for the bazillionth fucking time.
I am not going to force myself to eat when I'm not hungry. I just am not going to. So I didn't do IF, and I never will. All right, so now let's talk about how my week went.
So the no diet isn't working. The intermittent fasting isn't working. What's next? What are we going to do next? What's the next diet going to be for Amberlynn? Without her getting professional help or working with people to help her work through these things. Let's post an instructional video on how to drink water. You know, all we need to do, we'll need to get that, like, video of Marco Rubio where he, like, quickly grabs a little tiny bottle of water and takes a quick sip. Stitch, or move your fasting time so you eat when you're hungry, genius. Yeah. It's having that, you could also not eat when you're hungry too. I think the problem is she starts her eating window at, like, let's say noon. But she's not quite hungry at noon because her hunger cues and body's all kinds of fucked up. So she's letting herself, oh, okay, I can eat from 12 until 8. I'm not hungry, but what if I'm not hungry enough? What if I don't get all of my calories in by 8 p.m.? And it gets her into this mindset of, I need to eat so I can get my calories in this 8-hour window. But Amberlynn's sleep is all over the place. So she's up until 3 in the morning, but she ended her eating window at like 8 p.m. She's up for 7 more hours where she's not allowing herself to eat. It's a mess. She needs to have, I think she needs to, she should work on getting on a regular-ish sleep schedule and getting into a routine, trying to eat at regular times to get her hunger cues back into track. That made sense, Libby. Getting her hunger cues back into working order and back on track so that she can be like, oh, I'm hungry, let's eat. Oh, I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. Yeah, Heather, she needs a dietitian. And she needs therapy. She needs a lot of things. Don't we all? Do I have a message? No.
It actually went pretty freaking good, especially the beginning, but I'm realizing that the weekends are a lot harder for me. So I stayed below my calories 6 days out of the 7 days that I was supposed to. I genuinely don't know what happened, but Sunday,
you probably felt like you'd been restricting yourself, and Sunday, you're like, oh, I'm really hungry today. And she wanted, I don't know, a cheeseburger. I don't know what she ordered. She said she ordered sushi.
Ate so much. I genuinely just, like, could not get satisfied. I could not get full. And even though I overate drastically,
I can't get no. No.
Genuinely just, like, could not get satisfied. I could not get full. And even though I overate drastically, I still logged every single calorie. And when I stepped on the scale the next day, I was up 5 pounds. Fully aware it's not real.
It's not going to be all fat though. We know that. Probably a lot of it, maybe, you know, again, are you weighing before or after you take your morning poo? So.
Weight. It's a lot of water weight. It's a lot of sodium. It's a lot of fluid. I'm fully aware of that, just in the same way of, like, I was losing like 2 pounds a day almost in the beginning of this week, or this last week that just happened. And that's also a lot of water weight. Like, that's just what happens. Like, your body crazy fluctuates when you start a diet or when you overeat. Like, it's just what your body does. So it was a lot of, like, hexacana on the scale. Like, it was so good. And then that one day of overeating as drastically as I did, and all that, like, sodium and water weight that I gained, I was not happy with myself. So something I noticed about Noom, since they want you to weigh yourself daily, like, if you lose a good amount of weight, like, it literally changes the calories every single day. So I noticed every pound I would lose, it would like lower my calories by like 5 or 10, which I kind of like that. Anyways, let's get into my weigh-in. So last week I was 523.8 and today I was
Wait, I'm sorry.
So last week lowered my calories
out
by like 5 or 10, which I kind of like that. Anyways, let's get into my weigh-in. So last week I was 523.8 and today I was dun-ta-da, oh my god, do we have an earthquake? 518.0, and that's amazing, but I'm just over here thinking, how much more amazing would it have been if I wouldn't have overate that one day? So that means I'm down 5.8 pounds this week, pretty much 6, not gonna lie. I'm very proud of that because I'm not...
But it's rapid weight loss. Are we gonna get sludge in the gallbladder? That's why you stopped Ozempic 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Doing anything super drastic. It is hard though, like counting every single calorie that goes into my mouth. Like, it's annoying. I hate it. It's frustrating. But it's like, stay within that calorie limit. I definitely need to continue doing that. So
if she were to start working with a dietitian, they'd probably tell her to stop counting the calories for now and just work on getting her eating into a schedule and try to listen to her hunger cues. Are you hungry? Okay, eat. Are you full? Stop eating. You know, hours later, oh, you're hungry again? Eat something else. So the dietitian would probably have her not track calories right now. But she's not working with a dietitian or anybody.
So Noom does give me like 2,600 calories to 3,400 calories. I always stayed below 2,600. So I want to make that very clear. Besides the one day I overate, I literally had 4,000 calories. Yes, I did. So it was a really...
What did you eat that day? Because you can hit 4,000 calories really quickly if you're eating like fried food or like a lot of like sweets or something. You can get to that 4,000 calories pretty quick. Now, she said she ordered takeout that day, but she said she ordered sushi. So what did she eat for her other meals that day?
Really good weigh-in. I know it's a lot of water weight. I know I just need to stay on track, and I know I'm not going to be perfect. I'm probably going to have another day where I fuck up this week. This is genuinely not about perfection. And I just realized I forgot to say goals for this coming week. I totally skipped that part, didn't I? So my goals for this week is order takeout 3 times a week. Just
goals for this week are plural.
This coming week, I totally skipped that part, didn't I? So my goals for this week is order takeout 3 times a week. Just 3 times. And when I say order takeout, I mean from my Uber to deliver to my home, because that is where I have an issue.
What if it's not Uber? Can you order Uber 3 times and then Grubhub 2 times? Are we only making it Uber Eats? I mean, what if you call up Pizza Hut and have Pizza Hut directly deliver your food?
The weekends are hard for me because I don't have structure. I have started this whole YouTube.
You don't have structure any day. But like I said before, I think she needs to get a routine. She needs to set a routine, and you know, I think that would help her a lot, having a routine
Thing where it's very hyper focused throughout the week, because I want that normal schedule. I want like a routine, and on the weekends everything is more up in the air. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know this and that. I don't have like anything planned, but that kind of goes into my next goal. I really want to have a successful weekend, what I consider successful, more successful than that Sunday that I just had. I feel like this weigh-in video was literally all over the place. I'm sorry.
My weekends are also a little all over the place because I sleep in a couple of hours and it kind of throws my entire day off, but
sorry about that. My brain is kind of all over the place today, but I do hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
All right. So I think, did y'all see Glitter and Lasers meal prepping fast food? I did not. I need to watch Glitter and Lasers. I should probably make videos on Anna.
Another year and another kid graduating. I cannot believe
it's an ad. So her weigh-in video, hey, she has the scale going the right direction. That's good. The scale's going the right direction. She's never going to be perfect. And I don't think anybody expects that. She's trying to slowly make changes and make improvements. That's good. But I do really think she needs to work with some professionals. I really do. Hey, Zombie Snow. How you doing? You are graduating this year, aren't you, Lizzie R? Soon. It's March. So what, about 3 months? 2 months? But, we are going to... we are going to... watch Beck's video, and yeah, so we have Beck. Let me find my screen. So we have Beck's video title, Taking Responsibility for My Past. So Beck had mentioned in their community tab post that they didn't know what kind of fallout they would have for this. So I don't know what they're going to be covering in this video. It isn't super long. It's only 19 minutes. And I do have Beck also sped up to 1.25 speed. If we need to slow that back down, we will. But yeah, we will see what Beck is taking responsibility for. And also, this is supposed to be Beck's last video for a while because of all of the stuff with their supposed ex-fiance. Oh, Lizzie R, you'll be fine. I'm sure your grade is fine. So, alright, I don't know how the volume is going to be for this, so we'll give a quick volume check. I had a different intro recorded for this video, but I mainly talked about ideas I had for the channel. With everything going on in my life at the moment, I'll be taking a break for a while, so I did my best to edit the rest to make sense. Okay. I mean, it wouldn't have been bad to maybe still hear what ideas Beck would have, like, hey, this still stands, but it's going to be after I take this break for a little bit to kind of reset and get my shit back together, figure out what life's going to look like. So, we'll see how the volume is for you guys. She's not saying anything. They aren't saying anything.
I don't know where the future of this channel is heading, because I've honestly just been going with the flow since coming back. After this, I want to start moving away from making girl world content. I don't want you guys to feel like
Is the volume okay for you?
I don't know where the future of this channel is heading, because I've honestly just been going with the flow since coming back. After this, I want to start moving away from making girl world content. I don't want you guys to feel like I'm not grateful or that I don't want to embrace my entire audience. I don't want to completely ignore my past going forward. I just feel like I've finally been able to stand up for myself and talk about my side, and that's all I ever really wanted to do. I felt in the beginning like I needed to come back again and finally say something I hadn't said before. I wanted to share my part in all of this after being provoked for so long, while having my story told for me in a hurtful and untrue way for years. It was a...
So, I'm going to put Beck at regular speed for the moment. So I think, you know, Beck being able to come out and be like, hey, look, here's what I experienced in my relationship. This is how it affected me. I think all that's great. I think that's great for Beck to, you know, hey, here's...
It's a combination.
Whoops. Here's my experiences with this relationship and how it affected me and the issues that I had. But when it comes to talking about like Amber's hygiene and things like that, I think that it's completely unnecessary and just not relevant to Beck's trying to find the right word here. Abuse within the relationship and how they were treated. A lot of Amber's like hygiene and things. People asking about like cancer and stuff, not relevant. Hello, Mistress of the Dark. I hope you're having a good day.
While having my story told for me in a hurtful and untrue way for years. It was a combination of my circumstances, the right timing, and my own choices that brought me back to YouTube again. I didn't know at the time what I was really getting myself into. I deserve to speak my piece and so many of you listened, and I'll forever be grateful for that. Every step of the way I wasn't sure what to expect from the audience or from her in retaliation. I wanted to make this video now to try and take responsibility for my actions and things.
So let me say everything wrong that Amber ever did to me and then some. And then after I get all of your money from that, let me say what I've done. No, I mean, we don't know what Beck's going to say in this video, but we'll see here.
People have criticized me for in the past and in the present. I want to move forward to reflect and to learn. I want to be held accountable, but I also want to show that change can be possible. For me, for you, even for people like Amberlynn, if they are willing to accept their faults. It isn't beyond any of us, but growth isn't simple. Forgiveness isn't simple. I do not forgive Amberlynn, and she also does not need my forgiveness to change. It's natural to want to defend yourself against attacks and criticism. I have a lot of thoughts about all of it. I've been messy.
Sure. And that's what Amber was poorly trying to do. And then poorly trying to take accountability. I've covered that before. Let's see if Beck does any better. And see what...
See, I've been confused. I've been wrong and defensive. I think it's time I admit to my wrongs. Messy, defend yourself against attacks and criticism. I have a lot of thoughts about all of it. I've been messy. I've been confused. I've been wrong and defensive. I think it's time I admit to my wrongs and correct a few narratives surrounding myself and my past.
We need to talk. It's not you. Well, it is you.
Before getting into the past,
okay, that said cancer on the screen if you aren't watching.
I want to quickly talk about the discussion of cancer that happened during my last live stream. When I post reaction videos, I edit them so I don't sound too silly. I have some more time to think about my answers before posting them publicly when recording a video rather than reacting live. I want to say here and now that Amberlynn did have cancer. I didn't want to confuse the audience further. I only meant to say...
Okay, good. That's all Beck needed to say in that post. Amberlynn did have cancer. But the way that Beck worded it, which again, I'm going off what I've heard about it because I'm still behind and I haven't watched that video yet, that live working. Well, I hope work is going well, Mistress of the Dark. And I agree, Fiona's mom. The way that Beck worded it gave people space to question. And Beck knew that after they said it. They knew people are going to take what I said and run with it.
That I didn't know the details anymore and couldn't clarify those details. Going into detail and giving any answer other than yes, she did have cancer was wrong of me. My intention wasn't to stir up even more speculation, but my intention doesn't matter when that was a result. I'm sorry for...
I still think Beck knew as soon as they said it, people are going to run with this. But I don't know why people are asking Beck about Amber's medical specifics or anything specific related to cancer. Do you expect Beck to understand or remember any specifics related to Amberlynn's cancer diagnosis? Like the rating, the level, the prognosis, the diagnosis, anything? Especially since Beck's mom was dying at the same time. Beck was having a really rough time mentally and emotionally during this time. I don't know why people would be... Well, granted, this was a question from the ankle. I think the ankle's Q&A. But if I were Beck on that, I would have just not answered it. Or have just said she had cancer. I can't tell you the specifics because I don't remember them, because I don't understand them, but she had cancer.
Commenting on it whatsoever, and I never will again. My stance is firm and will not change. I was there for it, and me not remembering details is not due to it not being a valid or real experience for her. It was. I do want to comment on her reaction to this in her recent videos. I understand that she is upset that I brought this up at all. I tried to clarify in the comments of my video and in a community post immediately after the...
Yeah, but the community post didn't clear anything up. And I think anybody can understand why Amber would be upset, because Amber's had people speculating for years now that she did not have cancer. Even though she has shown proof, she's shown the diagnosis and everything. And for Beck to say what Beck said in that video, it just stirred it all up again, right? And that's got to be so frustrating for Amber to be like, I had cancer, I had a fucking hysterectomy because I had cancer, and you all keep stirring this shit up. I can absolutely see Amber just getting so fed up with it, and just... I didn't see her live that she did that night, but I heard it was pretty, like, she was pretty upset.
Live stream, but I understand that the damage of my video and in a community post immediately after the live stream, but I understand that the damage was done for some. That criticism is understandable. However, Amberlynn has used this as a way to rewrite history and say that me not remembering details was because I didn't care and that I was an awful partner. That's just not true. As she said herself, I was there for her at the hospital for days. I was worried. I was updating family and friends every step along the way. I didn't want people to think I'm some saint for doing this, but I want you to know that no one would have done those things if they didn't truly care about someone.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't make Beck a saint. This is anything that you were timed out because you ticked me off, Reese. This, you know, being there for your partner when they're going through a cancer diagnosis isn't like, oh, you're such a good person. I mean, yeah, hey, good for you for not being a dick. But I think that's anything that if you're in a relationship with somebody and they get a cancer diagnosis, if you aren't there for them in some capacity, physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever, then you're probably not a good person. So, I mean, yeah, Beck was there for Amber and updating people and in the hospital and there with her, because I would hope that Beck cared for Amberlynn and loved Amberlynn when they were in the relationship. However, Beck's recent behavior would kind of throw any of Beck's feelings during the relationship kind of into a question, looking back on it. But at that time, yeah, Beck is like, okay, this is my partner. She has cancer. She's scared. I'm going to be here for her as much as I can. Especially like Beck didn't have to go to work because Beck didn't have a job. So she was there for Amber. Yeah, Beck wiped Amber because Amber couldn't wipe herself after surgery. And then it continued for a bit longer after that. That's what you do when you love somebody and you're in a relationship with them. If they need your help with something like that, then that's what you do. And if you just physically aren't capable of doing it yourself, then you find a way for them to be able to do it and to help them in some way. But Beck has been throwing this back into Amber's face. Oh, I wiped your ass. You know, that's holding these things that Beck did supposedly out of love for Amberlynn, holding it over Amberlynn's head.
I want you to know that no one would have done those things if they didn't truly care about someone. I wouldn't have been there during the doctor appointments. I wouldn't have stayed with her every day at the hospital. I wouldn't have taken care of her while she was recovering if I did not care. That's
what partners do. when you're in a relationship with somebody and they have cancer, that's what you do. Now, at the same time, Beck's mom was also dying, which is not good. So Beck had that on their plate as well, unfortunately. So there's all these things going on emotionally, that Beck is dealing with, trying to be there for her partner and trying to be there for her family as well. It would be a lot. Let's see. We have some messages here. This is a group. Okay, Beck made a group chat that says, this is a group where I'll be updating everyone on Amberlynn's surgery. Right now we are in the registration/waiting room. This was July 15th at 9:30 in the morning. And Beck said they give the update as it's given to them, probably just waiting for a room. All I know is my head hurts horribly. And then somebody, we don't know who, says, sorry to hear that. You got anything to take forward in your bag? Okay, just let us know when you know. Beck says, no, I don't. All I care about right now is seeing her, and I'm getting really impatient. And this person says, I understand. I'm sorry. You will feel worse than you've ever felt for a little while, but you're in the best place for you. Trust your doctor. I hope everything eases off and you start to feel better. And then somebody else says, this is July 17th. This is a couple days later. Hang in there. You'll be feeling a lot better soon. And then I believe Norma, that's Beck's mother, says, sorry I haven't commented. I've been bad sick and they sent me to hospice and kept me overnight. I pray you get better soon and I love you. I don't know if that's supposed to be hospital or hospice. Because hospice wouldn't just be an overnight thing. Hospice is, we know you're dying and we're going to make you as comfortable as possible. So I don't know if that was an autocorrect and it was supposed to just be hospital. But obviously Beck's mother is not doing well. And Beck is in the hospital with Amberlynn here.
While I was physically there for Amberlynn, my attention was split between her and my mother's own battle with cancer. During Amberlynn's time in the hospital, my mom's health was quickly declining. She entered hospice care on July 16th. We lost...
Okay, so she went into hospice, so it was hospice, which is, like I said, here in the U.S., if you're not in the U.S. and it's called something different where you are, hospice is just basically, you're going to die soon, basically. We're going to keep you as comfortable as we can during that time. Do you want a cookie, Reese? Oh, that's not good, Fiona's mom. You're on palliative. Oh, man. I really hope they find a liver transplant for you so soon, Fiona's mom.
Her July 24th. That's the reason my memory isn't...
So Beck's mom passed away a week later. Yeah, I mean, I've been there. I've lost my mom to cancer as well, so I know what they were feeling and going through on that. So yeah, Beck had a lot going on during that time, absolutely. So I wouldn't expect Beck's memory to be great when it comes to specific details, but as far as the whole thing about kind of the squirrely answer they gave during the live stream, with not it made it sound like they didn't know if Amber had cancer or not, and people ran with that.
Isn't clear. Still, I was wrong for bringing it up. I admit that. And I will not be speaking on cancer or any serious physical health details after this. I also will not be speaking on or speculating on Amber's weight or relationships. I have discussed and brought to your attention hygiene and mental health and other similar things because of their direct impact on me and my past relationship with her. But I try hard to only speak about my own
I don't think everything was brought up for that reason.
Involvement in most of those things and the context surrounding them.
Enabling.
While I was dating Amberlynn, I chose to be ignorant to a lot of things going on and to a lot of her behaviors. I did it with good intentions, but that didn't matter. I was still an enabler to her behavior for years. Towards herself, myself, my family, our friends, and the audience watching. Now I know that I can't change someone else, that they need to make changes themselves. Helping.
Yeah, during a lot of the relationship, of course, you're in a relationship with somebody, and you're going to defend them, and you are going to try to see the best in them, right? Because they're your partner. So, did Beck enable a lot of Amberlynn's behavior towards the audience and other people? Yes. Yes, that was very enabling of Beck. But Beck seems like a very passive person, almost like a pushover in a relationship. Somebody that Amberlynn could be the domineering person in the relationship. Beck seems very passive and very like, whatever you want to do, you know, just kind of along for the ride. And like a lot of people, when you're with somebody, because we've seen Amberlynn get angry, right? We've seen some of her blow-ups. When you're with somebody that could possibly get angry because you didn't do something, you will oftentimes do things to placate them. Just be like, all right, you know what? You want McDonald's at 2 a.m? Fine, I'll go get you fucking McDonald's because I don't want you blowing up at me. So some of those could have been along those lines, but I don't know.
Someone is not always helping them. Sometimes by helping them, you're only enabling them to become a worse version of themselves. I also want to admit to enabling her when it came to spending money and the food she ate. I fell into a dynamic where it became normal to talk down to me and to yell when I said no, to be pushed and pushed until I caved and gave in to her requests, and then I would just cave faster to avoid the pushing. That's not normal. I should have taken more people's advice than left, and now.
So part of this is also kind of striking me as Beck playing the victim. I enabled her, but because she was a pushover. I enabled her because she would have done that. It's almost not really taking any kind of accountability or responsibility for enabling Amber's, because she's blaming Amber for it. So it's not really, oh, I enabled Amber. It's an Amber persuaded me or coerced or, you know, convinced me to do these things.
Now I wish I had.
Even the FBI is recommending people use ad blockers to combat malicious search engine advertising.
Yeah,
so,
okay, really?
check out...
Wow.
I want her, and then I would just cave faster to avoid the pushing. That's not normal. I should have taken more people's advice than left, and now I wish I had.
I don't know, Reese. I didn't do it. Maybe my mod did. I don't know. Yeah, this is still this is striking me as Beck saying that they enabled Amber, but Amberlynn made them enable her. Like, not really. Yeah, that was a weird one. That wasn't to me like taking responsibility. That was more of a, I did it because Amberlynn made me do it. Oh, the GoFundMe. Oh, this should be a good one.
I want to also address here both of the GoFundMe situations. The first one in question was the GoFundMe that my family made for my mom. This was to help with medical bills that were piling up during her cancer treatments. Amberlynn helped by sharing the GoFundMe to her subscribers at the time, but it did end up causing some controversy when people began saying that because my mom had remarried, that she would have had it.
She did have insurance, just wasn't enough to cover all of her treatments. Yeah, it's expensive. Even with insurance, you're still going to have a lot of bills. Insurance isn't going to cover everything, which is why a lot of people don't seek medical treatment for things, because they can't afford it. So even with the insurance, you're still going to have medical bills.
Insurance to cover all her needs, and saying that because my mom had remarried, that she would have had insurance to cover all her needs. When donating your own money to a cause, I can understand why this would worry anyone who contributed. At the time, my mom was in a relationship with her partner Jerry, who she did marry, but their marriage was not legally binding. They had a ceremony with a relative as the officiant. She wanted to have the ceremony, but didn't want to get...
Wait a minute, say that again?
I can understand why this would worry anyone who contributed. At the time, my mom was in a relationship with her partner Jerry, who she did marry, but their marriage was not legally binding.
She married, but their marriage was not legally binding. They had a ceremony, somebody officiated it. Did they not get the actual marriage license and file it?
Had a ceremony with a relative as the officiant. She wanted to have the ceremony, but didn't want to get legally remarried. My mom was very religious and had been...
So then they weren't married. They legally weren't married. But on your insurance, whenever you have a job that has insurance, when you fill the paperwork out, you can list your beneficiary, and you can list a partner on that. You don't have to be officially married to that person. You can still cover them on your insurance if they're your partner, or if you're in a serious relationship with them. I don't know, Reese Peace. So her mom, their mom. Sorry, I was thinking about Amber there, not Beck. So, or her being Beck's mom. So Beck's mom didn't want to be legally married, but wanted to be married?
Been married before to my dad. After their divorce, she didn't want to legally marry again. She called what she had with Jerry a Bible marriage, and it was not official, and so she couldn't benefit from his insurance. They had a small wedding for themselves and the family, but there were never any signed legal documents. I believe
So Browse said not all. Do you mean not all insurance? So most places, especially since before gay marriage became legal in all the states, you could cover your partner on your insurance even if you weren't married. But it may just depend on the insurance provider. But Beck said, "Oh no, you sprained your ankle. What the hell did you do, Sai? Take care of yourself. Be careful." But Beck did say that their mother was covered by, I forgot his name, was covered by her husband's insurance. But they weren't married.
Money is always a difficult topic for anyone. Asking for money, for help, especially among people who grew up in poverty, can be like asking for blood. If you've ever dealt with hefty medical bills, you know how complicated and sinister the American medical system can be. I agreed to promote the GoFundMe because I was really hoping I could help my mom. None of us expected the backlash that came from it at the time. Instead of explaining all of this respectfully and showing understanding for everyone's concerns, I felt attacked and defended myself and my family instead. During that relationship, I never saw the positivity in the community. I had a lot of negative opinions towards everyone in it and the people who criticized me.
Well, yeah, I mean, Beck saw a lot of the negativity in the community because they were attacking their partner. You're seeing people and reaction channels come at this person that you care for, and they sorry, I was reading the chat. My mods are out of control. Sai, you're out of control. Don't time out Reese Peace for saying they don't eat cookies. It's fine. If Reese Peace doesn't want to eat cookies, they don't want to eat cookies. Only time people out if they're being dicks or insulting others in the chat. Domestic partnerships. Yes, that's the word that I was looking for earlier. Well, that's Texas, Fiona's mom. Texas is a really weird place. So with the GoFundMe, and yeah, Beck would have only seen a lot of the negative side of the community when they were with Amber, and that would have colored their opinion of the community for a long time. But now the community loves Beck because Beck is spilling tea on Amber. So now I took away your toy. So you don't bully Amber, Lizzie R. But now that the community loves them, Beck is fine with the way the community treats Amberlynn.
I had a lot of negative opinions towards everyone in it and the people who criticized me. This caused me to become overly sensitive toward criticism from the audience a lot, but I was not in the same headspace then that I am now. In criticism, there's always room for understanding and improvement, but it's not the same as an attack, and I see that now.
Yeah, there is a difference. There's a difference between people just being rude and hateful and mean, and people offering criticism and that's constructive and thought out, and hey, here's where I think you've gone a little off.
Always room for understanding and improvement, but it's not the same as an attack, and I see that now. The second GoFundMe situation was post-breakup. I didn't have much to my name at the time. I had the car, the one that Amberlynn was paying for while we were together, but it was not paid off. I continued to make payments on the car after moving out, but it had a lot wrong with it. Eventually it broke down. I wasn't sure if it was going to be fixable or if I was going to have to find a way to get a newer car. The original idea for the GoFundMe was to be able to get a newer car. However, the money that was raised, though very generous, was just not enough for that. After closer inspection from a family member, it looked like we were going to be able to fix it and keep it working. That was the cheaper option at the time. The majority of the GoFundMe money went to parts and repairs. I used the rest of the money to pay insurance and the car payment and other bills. I understand now.
Yeah, so now Amberlynn read a message in one of her live streams of somebody saying that Beck used the GoFundMe money to purchase MJ and didn't use it on the car at all. Good for you, Reese. And didn't use any of it for the car. So here's a couple of comments. The first one says, so this is about the GoFundMe. The first comment says, how come you haven't been on the 700 member Discord since it started? I was a mod and left because there's no point. Got myself a family and working 60 plus a week, and I still have the time to pop in. What's your excuse? And then Beck says, you're right. I'm just so used to feeling like I have to, you know, but I know I don't owe them anything. About the Discord. And somebody else in a different comment says, can you send me back the money I donated to your GoFundMe? Because I was under the impression that it was for your car, and in hearing you only used $250 of that $2K for the car just feels wrong to me. And Beck responded to somebody, not the original commenter, it looks like, a lot on this, and you admitted you didn't donate. Literally anyone can say they donated and demand their money back, and I would be giving money to people for free who didn't even donate in the first place. So you can donate money back through the GoFundMe, I believe. People can request a refund through it, but I think you can also send people their money back from GoFundMe directly, I think. Yeah, so the whole car thing was because Beck had said that other stuff basically came up. People donated based on the car. They wanted Beck to have a working car and to fix the car. And when it came up that Beck had other bills that needed to be addressed instead of the car, that's when people got upset. They were like, wait a minute, this GoFundMe was supposed to be for your car, and now you're using it for living expenses. They're like, that's not what we donated for.
I used the rest of the money to pay insurance and the car payment and other bills. I understand now that I should have communicated better, and I definitely should not have gotten
some more comments here from Beck clapping back at people.
Snappy with people who came for me after the fact. It was easier back then to get a reaction out of me, especially after having such a skewed view of everything that was happening online. I thought that fighting back in a petty way was all I could do. I know that some people were unhappy with me over these incidents, and I'm so sorry to anyone who felt like they were misled for my bad communication and awful reaction. It was never my...
So with Beck responding the way they did, that's how they saw Amberlynn respond to criticism during the relationship. So that's how Beck thought, this is how I need to respond to these people, and wasn't able to take anything as criticism. Now, what Beck hasn't addressed is actually what the money was actually used for. They're only saying, yeah, I responded poorly to people, but not, yeah, I used the GoFundMe for weed instead of for my car.
My intention to leave anyone unsure about why they had chosen to support me. At another time, later on, there were a few YouTube channels and their subscribers who raised money for me. I didn't know about this instance until I got a message offering it to me. I was told to use this money for whatever I needed or wanted, no strings attached. The money was used on groceries, bills, things for my bedroom where I was moving at the time, and yes, some went to smoking. I want to thank everyone who donated.
Some went to smoking. So here's what I want to say about that. Somebody commented on one of my previous videos when I said that Beck probably had a shitty memory from smoking too much weed. Somebody commented and said, Beck has said that they don't smoke because it's illegal. Does that change your opinion? Here Beck is saying that they do smoke and they do purchase it. So I think Becca said it before too.
Donated back then to the GoFundMe for my mom, for myself, and to the people who raised that money for me when I was in a difficult position. I really am grateful for the support I've been given over the years, even back then when I couldn't see it. You all contributed to helping me every time. I never wanted anyone to feel like I didn't appreciate their generosity. Getting angry and defensive with people was the wrong way to go. I should have been more understanding and grateful. It can be hard to see the good things happening when so much feels like it's going wrong. I remember being called out for things like the typo negative flag, the GoFundMes, and the enabling, and I know I reacted poorly to those things every time. I felt misunderstood for the reasoning behind them, but they were still valid criticisms to make towards me. Taking criticism is hard. Listening to others' opinions about you is hard, especially if your ego is already damaged. I still should have listened, understood, and reacted with empathy. I worked really hard to get better at those things, and I hope it shows now and in the future.
So, yeah, so the part of the problem also is that Beck seems to come to the community that Beck has admittedly hated and didn't like, come to the community to ask for assistance. The community that Beck hated and would rally against and didn't like came to their assistance for the GoFundMe. Was part of the community that raised the money and gave it to them. And Beck would come and make videos and then leave again after getting the money they needed for whatever bill was due, I guess. But yeah, taking criticism is hard. And hey, being able to say, I shouldn't have reacted this way and I'm sorry, but not addressing what caused the initial thing, like, hey, yeah, here's, because people were upset about the usage of the money, but Beck didn't really address, Beck said they used it for, like, the insurance and stuff, but we have a message from somebody else saying that's not what they used it for. FB post about X. Facebook post about X? Is that what that is?
Back then at some point, though I'm not sure exactly when, a post resurfaced of a horrible picture that was posted on Facebook. A photo of one of my ex's underwear. I didn't post the picture myself, but I'm sure I knew it was going to be posted, so that doesn't matter. I also participated in the comments and the harassment that came along with it. My ex and I had a very unhealthy relationship. I was stupid and angry and felt justified in something that was disgusting and wrong. There is no justification for that. What happened in the relationship does not matter. Nothing she could have done to me or anyone excuses or makes her deserving of that being shared. I shouldn't have allowed that post to go up. I didn't stop it from happening. It's all terrible, and I'm sorry, and I've grown enough to know that hurting someone because you're hurt doesn't fix anything. It only causes more pain.
Okay, good. Beck is like, hey, I participated in this behavior and I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for doing this. I've learned and I shouldn't do this now. But some of the things that Beck has been doing the past several weeks has been doing this, has perpetuated more hate and antagonization towards their ex.
I want to talk about my history of saying things that were offensive and hurtful. Someone sent to me an old clip from a live stream, it was a you now, of me saying very insensitive things. I was reading comments sent in, and the
I'm not familiar with this.
You now, of me saying very insensitive things. I was reading comments sent in, and the conversation turned when I made a hand gesture for okay. People pointed out that hand gesture could be harmful. I reacted poorly to people's criticism. I had a meltdown. I wasn't listening, and the things I said to defend myself were even worse than what I'd originally done. At the time, I didn't see it as anything offensive. I know now that it wasn't my place to decide whether or not what I said or did was offensive. I'm not affected by racism. Microaggressions exist. especially from white people who don't understand the complexities of being a racial minority in America. I thought that because my intentions weren't bad, that what I said wouldn't have been hurtful. But that doesn't mean that words don't have power and cannot hurt others. Intention doesn't dictate how others feel.
Hey.
So the OK symbol has been taken over by white power. If you're watching and aren't aware, making the OK symbol, it makes a WP, like white power. But not everybody knows that, and I think it's sad. I think it's sad that racist and these awful communities have appropriated and like taken like innocent things like the OK symbol, and it's sad, but that's what we've come to.
Okay, what does this mean? What mean?
That's pinky promise.
No, that must mean that I'm racist against Guatemalans.
What, babe?
This means I'm racist against white people.
What, babe?
Why does cooking for one feel like half the meal but twice the cleanup? Let me show you how factor overhaul.
Babe, what are you smoking?
This means I'm racist against monkeys and alligators.
Amberlyn is so confused. Like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sure that was a lovely face when I went to sneeze.
Alligators and Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
I literally am one of them right now. I'm like, what is this woman saying?
Because they said I threw up a white power hand gesture, so I'm like, okay, fine. This is racist, and this is racist, and this is racist, and this is racist, and everything's racist, and...
Oh my god!
She said she's racist against monkeys!
Look at what you're...
She called black people monkeys!
I think what Becky was trying to say is that this does not mean whatever you guys are making it mean. This means okay. Have you guys seen people be like, okay?
Okay, fine. What about the emoji?
Oh, yeah, there is an emoji that does that.
Yeah. Becky's having a breakdown. I was lying.
So, I can understand, like, Beck and Amber being confused by, like, what are you talking about? But people do still use that as okay, especially outside of the U.S. You know, but people will still be like, oh yeah, okay, you know, and they don't mean anything by it because they aren't racist, they aren't white supremacists, so they're not thinking that this is where people's minds are going to go, right? So it's, I mean, Beck got a little upset, like, oh my god, because they thought it was ridiculous, probably for good reason at that time. Like, oh my god, but Beck went a little over the top there.
I even went into panic mode, saying all these exaggerated examples to plead my case, when all I needed to do was shut up and listen. Even mentioning that as an example was narrow-minded. It doesn't matter what my intention was. Watching my reaction back then left me feeling embarrassed and ashamed for ever reacting in that way. I understand why it was seen as racially insensitive and upsetting to viewers then and now.
People that live in areas where there are racist people could take it as offensive, but I think I think people might be overly sensitive sometimes. Knowing that your average person doesn't mean white power when they give an okay symbol, they're just like, okay. Your average person isn't thinking that, they're just being like, okay. So for people to be like, oh, be careful. Now, in certain areas of the country, you might want to be careful, but I don't think your average person is going, their mind isn't going to go there because it isn't a widely known symbol the white supremacists use. I think more people now know about it than they did when Beck and Amber made this video. But yeah, Beck got a little extreme with all of the examples.
Upsets me knowing I said those things to others and got so frustrated and acted with such contempt. I know that hearing what I said in the live stream hurt people. I'm sorry.
Oh, we're going to talk about the stepsister situation.
Now I want to address these rumors about my stepsister. This is a complicated issue, and I don't know if bringing more attention to it is the best idea, but I can't let it continue to be misunderstood and spread around the way it has. This all happened right before I met Amberlynn, and the rumor popped up during Amberlynn and I's relationship. At that time, Amberlynn spoke to my family about what happened. She spoke to Jerry, my mom, and my sisters, who told her exactly what really happened. There is even video evidence to Jerry, my mom, and my sisters, who told her exactly what really happened. There is even video evidence of her defending me during a live stream where I tried to explain what happened at the time.
Becky never tried to date her stepsister. Wait, ever. What? Becky talked to this girl one time, and she was trying to be there for her in a message. You can clarify more if you want.
Yeah, okay, so
we're so stupid.
My mom started dating this guy, and he had this daughter, this stepdaughter, and she was getting on to where I work, and I found out that her girlfriend completely dumped her for some dude at work, and I told her, I'm like, look, I still think, I messaged her, we didn't know each other, I'm like, I still think that you should try to get on despite what happened. Things will be okay, just ignore her if you have to. Do this for you. Don't come to work, don't refuse to come to the job if, over a girl. Like, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm trying to get it out.
I think it's pretty ridiculous at this day and age, just because someone's nice to you, that means they want to date you.
Yeah.
So last night he used him. Honestly, nothing better.
But I didn't explain it as well as I could have because I was on the spot.
They didn't really explain anything whatsoever. So, if you haven't read this, somebody popped up on Kiwi Farms several years ago, saying that she was the mother of Beck's stepsister, and that Beck worked with the stepsister at a place and had messaged the stepsister asking her out and wanting to like kind of asking her out on dates. And when the stepsister said no or didn't show interest, then Beck and I guess a friend at work or whatever harassed the stepsister at work until she quit. Don't know if it's true. I mean, we haven't seen text messages. I don't believe the stepsister has come forward. But we'll see what else Beck has to say here. Because in that clip, Beck didn't say anything other than they told the stepsister, no, still come work here, but didn't address their own behavior towards the stepsister in that little live clip.
I find it really upsetting that Amberlynn has now tried to weaponize this rumor against me, but that is not what is most important. Back then, my mom was dating Jerry, the same man she eventually became Bible married to. My parents had been divorced for a while, but my mom grew up very religious and the divorce was hard on her. Our family supported mom moving on, but Jerry's ex-wife despised my mom. Jerry had a daughter from his previous marriage. She was younger than I was, and I met her once when I'd gone to Jerry's house for the first time with my mom. I never met Jerry's ex-wife. Our families are not in contact anymore and have not been for years outside of still talking to Jerry occasionally. Interpersonal drama was heated back then. I don't exactly know what happened between her and my mother and her partner or between them and Jerry. What I do know is that their daughter started to work at the same plant that I worked at in a different department and that the daughter's girlfriend also worked there. It was a really big plant and you usually didn't see people outside of your department. At that time, the daughter and her girlfriend were having some issues and my mom and Jerry were worried that the daughter would stop showing up to her job. Jerry asked me to message her and encourage her to continue working. I messaged her. I might have said some things about my own experience being queer in a family who didn't support me. I also said the job paid pretty well and that she should continue working there since the place is so big that the likelihood of running into her girlfriend during whatever was happening at the time was very low. But we didn't talk much. I'm not even sure that she responded. I certainly never harassed her at work, and I was never interested in her in any romantic or inappropriate way. I think when things were okay again with her girlfriend, she may have taken offense to my advice, thinking I'd overstepped a boundary by mentioning the relationship. I probably shouldn't have gotten involved, and if me messaging her at all upset her or made her uncomfortable, then I am sorry for that. Nothing I said was inappropriate or was ever meant to be taken as an advance toward her. This all came out online because her mother, Jerry's ex-wife...
Oh, here it is. And they're calling Beck Necky. Let me see. So this doesn't... So all of these posts, I don't know what these are. These are from Beanbag in a Hurry, best blogger ever. I don't know if, all of these are just saying that I know Beck's family. I don't want to disclose myself. No, they cannot chase me. They're too large for that, I guess. It's just things trying to prove that they know Beck and Amber Lynn, it looks like.
Started to post on Kiwi Farms. At first it was just things about Amber Lynn, it seemed. Then it became things about Jerry and her relationship with...
Okay, yeah, this is where the post was. My first encounter with the Amberland universe was around October 2016. Alright, I'm going to read this, since some of you were just listening. I'll read what I can see of it at least. Around October 2016, around that time, my daughter, who had turned 18 in August and was living with her father, my soon-to-be ex-husband, Jerry. We finally divorced in April 2018. For my daughter's sake, we agreed to wait until she turned 18, so not to fight over child custody. Jerry and I were trying to remain on good terms. Trying to figure the timeline out there. Anyway, my daughter received a car from Jerry for her birthday. I warned against getting her a car because at the time my daughter had no source of income. She got a job 1 week later at the same place Beck worked. That is a whole other story. He reassured me that the car was a gift and that he would pay for it. This is important later. Jerry and my daughter had always been close until less than a month later in September 2016. A woman named Norma entered, quote, our lives. Norma moved in with Jerry and my daughter very soon after, and by October 2016, I received a call that Jerry and Norma had thrown her daughter out, that would be Beck, and that I need to come get her now. Wait. Received a call that Jerry and Norma had thrown her out, being the stepsister, the daughter. My daughter had lived happily with Jerry for almost 2 years. I hated not having her live with me, but I allowed her to move in with him and make her happy. What people do for their kids. Their reason for throwing out my daughter was because she is gay, and they didn't want her girlfriend and her to do vile and disgusting things in Jerry's and Norma's house while they were at work. To this day, my husband refuses to see or talk to my daughter until 1. She apologizes to Norma for being disrespectful and not obeying whatever Norma says to do, and 2. Stop throwing in their faces her unnatural, disturbing, and disgusting lifestyle. 3. Norma will decide when Jerry can spend time with my daughter, and Norma must be there. Sadly, the last contact she had with him was just before Christmas. Side note. Strange how they will buddy up or demand things from Amber Lynn, who has money, but completely abandon Jerry's own daughter. The lust for and greed for money is another story. Jerry has always been about the money, and that's where that one ends.
With him and her hatred for my mom. And then she told the story.
And it says, and then this part continues and says, so this has been cut up. The time that my daughter lived with me, she had shown me text from Beck. Beck's very first text was about Norma throwing them out when Beck was 15 because Beck was gay. And if my daughter wanted to go out sometime, basically it was several awkward attempts via text for my daughter to date them. They worked together also. At first it was okay for my daughter at work, but things got worse and worse as time went on. Beck showed her true colors. Also, the harassing phone calls from, and it cuts off. So, when I was first reading this story, when I first read it the first time, when I read this the first time, I was like, okay, maybe Beck was just offering, hey, if you want to go out and get a coffee, we can talk about this. I've been where you are. That was my initial thought, kind of a, hey, do you want to get a drink? Do you want to get a coffee? I've been where you are. We can talk about the situation. I got thrown out when I was 15. Just to, let me be there for you if you need someone to talk to. But it seems that the stepsister's mother took it as Beck trying to ask the stepdaughter out on a date. And then somebody asked a question on the Kiwi Farms post that says, have you ever met Beck? Could you maybe describe in your own words who they are? And this person says, I have only seen them once in the parking lot at Walmart. My info was from the many texts that were sent to my daughter, which I read, and my daughter's interactions at work as described by my daughter. Hope that answers your questions. And then another question from somebody says, and just to confirm, Beck is hitting on your daughter while Beck was already shackled up with Amber Lynn. I think they mean shacked up. And this person responds and says, yes, Beck texted, which I read, that someone in their family suggested that Beck should be a couple with my daughter, and Beck really liked the idea that they could be one big happy family. Who in Beck's family would have suggested, hey, you should go after your stepsister? I don't know who would have suggested that. Oh, hey Nakana, good to see you. So if the stepsister had told her mother, hey, I'm being harassed at work, that's not misconstruing something. That isn't reading a text and being like, oh, whenever it's innocent. If the stepsister told did you mean to say back and it came out as Beck, Stitch? I mean, so the text messages, I could see them being misunderstood, but if the stepsister said, Beck is harassing me at work, that's different.
Story about what happened between myself and her daughter. I wish I had more to tell you about it. I don't.
Oh my god, there's another fucking.
And then she told the story about what happened between myself and her daughter. I wish I.
Alright, this one says, the reasons I finally spoke out and got verified. Norma, Beck, and Amber Lynn started to try to scam unsuspecting people on GoFundMe. My ex owes me several months back pay from the divorce settlement amounting in the thousands. If I was after the money that he owes me, I would have kept my mouth shut and pushed to get my money from him. No, scamming people is wrong. I have posted on the farms before and didn't reveal my identity because of my daughter and the fact I had a DVO against Jerry. Now, my daughter is safe away from the insanity, and I don't care what they know. Don't care they know it is me. Too many lies upon lies that now affect strangers. To answer some questions about Jerry's retirement, yes, he retired from the U.S. Navy. We actually met while both of us served in the Navy. I was injured in the line of duty and was medically discharged. I know how Navy retirement and insurance works. You get half, blah, blah, blah. So, alright, the Brow says, especially since Beck's mom was against homosexuality. Well, I think a DVO is a domestic violence order, I think. I think it's like a restraining order. Yeah, Lizzie R. I think so. I don't know. So, Beck's sisters are more okay with Beck's sexuality. Maybe they were the ones that suggested it. Stitch, incest is more acceptable in the South than homosexuality. What if it's homosexual incest? So,
I had more to tell you about it. I don't have any messages to screenshot or evidence to show because, to be honest, they were not part of my life. But in a he said, she said type of situation, there isn't anything I can really say other than that didn't happen. And I never sexually or verbally harassed anyone.
So, yeah, there isn't, I mean, it's a she said, they said, right? And that's what all of these things are, whether it's between Amberlynn and Beck or Beck and somebody else, because there's never any proof, there's never any evidence coming from people, from some people. You know, we don't have messages from Beck to the stepsister. We don't have screenshots from this mother of the stepsister. The mother of the stepsister is, you know what, I'm going to give her a name, Pam. We're going to call her Pam. You know, Pam isn't showing any evidence, just, you know, my daughter said this to me. Oh, I read the text messages. But the text messages could have been taken out of context. But Beck also doesn't have any evidence to be like, yeah, no, here's what I said to this person. So there's no evidence from anybody. So it's like, you know, flip a coin and pick who you're going to believe. Mars, that's why I picked Pam. Yeah, I was thinking about Pam from Stardew Valley. Banjo music intensifies. Well, Stitch, you can play that banjo for us soon. We need more proof from Beck that they didn't, per the girl world rules. Yeah, exactly. Beck has to prove that they didn't do this. That's how it works, right? Somebody makes an allegation against you, then you have to prove that you didn't do it. You can't, you aren't the person making the allegation that has to show the proof. The person defending themselves has to show the proof.
The internet is a really scary place. A place where the loudest usually wins and anyone has the freedom to say whatever they feel at any moment. It may feel freeing one minute and restricting another. I'm grateful for the platform I've gained, but I'm also pretty sensitive. Having so many eyes on me, gaining so much attention is hard to swallow. I came back because I didn't see another way out, and I was tired of always being nipped.
I came back because I didn't see another way out? Another way out from what? you've been out of the relationship with Amber Lynn for years. You've allegedly been in therapy to work through these issues. What did coming back to YouTube and saying all of these things, what did it get you out of? The browse. I wonder what happened that prompted Amber to ask Beck to stop working that job. I believe what Amber Lynn has said was that Beck had complained that their back was always hurting, that it was physically demanding, and that the job was just physically hard on their body. So Amber Lynn was like, well, then stop working there. I can support us both. So I think that's I believe the reason that was given for why Beck stopped working at that place, because it was a very, very physically demanding job and was like hurting Beck's back and causing physical problems. Didn't it say another way out from poverty, Sai? Is that what it is?
It's hard to swallow. I came back because I didn't see another way out, and I was tired of always being nitpicked, lied about, and pushed by Amber Lynn. I didn't know how.
Lied about, nitpicked, and pushed by Amber Lynn. Amber Lynn didn't make a video about Beck. Amber Lynn did say a few things about Beck in my live stream. That's where those comments came from that you were seeing from Amber Lynn saying some things about Beck. They were in my live stream. And she was responding to me. Because I was talking about watching a video that Beck did with Karina Kaboom back in August of last year.
How my return would be received. A few months ago, I never could have imagined that I'd spill so many secrets so publicly or speak so openly about what my experience was really like. A lot of you have left comments talking about how I've inspired you with my story, but genuinely, it's you guys who have inspired me. I don't think I would have come forward without your support. I don't think I would have grown so much without you. I think maybe we could all help each other be better going forward. I know gossip and drama is fun. I know that LOL cows are a thing for a reason, just like reality TV. But I guess I just don't know if continuing to talk about her, even just by calling out her behavior, is what's best. I
don't think it is. I don't think it's healthy for Beck to do. I don't think it's healthy for people to keep perpetuating, trying to get people to spill tea on somebody just because you don't like that person. None of it is healthy. None of this is healthy.
Enabling the cycle of abuse further by bringing attention to her at all. I think it's important to call out bad behavior and to give criticism when constructive. But what about
when the bad behavior and the criticism is turned around on Beck? People don't like that because Beck is a saint. Beck can never do any wrong because Beck is the perfect victim. Right? Whenever the mirror is turned around back on Beck steps away, doesn't want it anymore. Or the community rallies and is like, no, Beck is perfect.
About when it doesn't reach the person? She does not listen. It's never used constructively. The damage is there and it can't be taken back. The positive out of all of this is that I was able to stand up for myself and tell my side of the story, and in turn maybe empower others to do the same. I hope that this video eases the worries of people hurt by my actions. I hope that it clears up some things for the rest of you.
It didn't really clear up much, and people hurt by your actions. There weren't really any explanations given, which, I mean, I guess is fine. If you're going to be like, hey, this happened, people said this, I'm sorry.
And I hope that we can continue to move forward from all of this in different ways. I want to try to be kinder going forward, to think more.
You want to try to be kinder going? Bullshit. Well, I mean, now Beck's taking a break because things got turned back around on their fiance.
Before I speak, Girl World will be forever. It will follow me, and I'm sure everyone involved in the ecosystem for their whole careers.
Not much of an outro. And not sure when I'll upload again, but thank you all for being here for this era and all that.
Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.
6 months from now. So I think you don't think folks think Beck is perfect. No, the brows, there are a lot of people that Beck can do anything, or they excuse Beck's behavior. People say that I excuse Amber's behavior. A shit ton of people excuse Beck's behavior. The only things that I excuse Amber Lynn for are things that, in my opinion, she deserves some grace on, whether it's her eating or, I don't know, I can't think of an example right now. But if Amber's doing shitty things, I'm going to say Amber's doing shitty things. But I don't know how to feel. I might have to think about this one for a bit. I may have to re-listen to it. Somehow I'm still left feeling lacking. I'm feeling lacking still in this. I don't know. It's just like the stepsister situation is like, I don't have proof that I didn't do this, but take my word for it. But we have the stepmom of the person saying, I saw these messages. We have Pam saying, I read these text messages and they weren't okay. And my daughter was saying that she was being harassed by Beck at work. And all of that came out years ago. This isn't a recent thing. As far as the GoFundMe, we have somebody that messaged Amber Lynn saying that Beck used the GoFundMe money for weed and did not use it for the car or anything related to the car. We have Beck at the time saying they used very little of the money for the car because they had bills to pay, and that their cousin was going to be fixing it for, for super cheap and almost for free, and not really addressing some of the allegations from some of these things. But I will say, at least Beck said, when they were like, I shouldn't have done this, and I'm sorry for doing that. I'm sorry for doing this. I'm sorry for doing this. Only when they were talking about Amber Lynn was there kind of a, she made me do it. I did this, but it was because of her. It's, what's the tone of the comments under Beck's video? Oh, they're all going to be super positive. Let's take a look. Oh, that was the wrong button. So this one, oh, my tummy's growling. Oh, there's some here. So this one, the first comment says, oh, it's getting a little dark in here. How much you cash out, though, is the first comment here, the most recent one. This one says that you were not just simply enabling Amber, Beck. She made you dependent on her and abused, berated you when you did try and tell her no. It's not always so easy to just leave. The next comment says, taking accountability is fab. Take whatever time you need and come back when you want. This person says, who wrote this script? The one driving the bus. That would be Dakota. cue the hi Amber comments. And then the same person, this Andrea person, says, people need to stop accusing everyone who doesn't lick Beck's butt of being Amber. It's so childish. Other people can and do have opinions. Get the fuck out. Not wrong. This person says, this is what accountability looks like, Amber Lynn. And this person commented, what is that emoji? And then somebody commented on this, somebody named Farts Are Not Funny says, also tactics to manipulate everyone, because now no one cares what they say because everyone once again sees them as a bigger victim than they already were. You were only responsible for yourself and your actions. Keep going, Beck. This different Andrea person says, I've seen a lot of little Am babies in the comments, and I'd like for you to take a moment to ask yourself this question. Am I willing to take full accountability for everyone in my life, even if I was not part of the situation or part of their lives at the time of them doing it? I don't understand that one. But yeah, so if anybody, like the person up above said, if you don't lick Beck's butt, you're automatically an Am baby. Sorry Dakota got caught wanting to fiddle kids. It ruined the gravy train. And I apparently can't see the comments on that one. No one is going to stick around unless you are talking about Amber, and you know that. The cash grab is done. Fools rush in. And then somebody says, hi, Amber. And the person responds, it's not Amber, dude. Other people besides her exist that saw the forest for the trees. They're both awful humans. And then the Andrea up above says, everybody not licking Beck's butt is accused of being Amber. Sigh. And then somebody says, if that's true, then why were there still over 1,000 people watching them play Stardew? Nobody is saying their audience would be as big, but you don't speak for everyone, and a lot of people find them entertaining. Also, if you really believe Beck and Amber are at the same level of, quote, bad, then I don't know what to tell you, because other than you clearly don't know enough about the situation. Nobody is saying Beck is perfect, but they don't have to be. Just because you weren't perfect doesn't mean you weren't abused. Clearly they've grown and you're mad about it, but your comment did nothing but help boost their video. So if you want to keep commenting your statements that speak in absolutes and ignore the complexity of the situation because you refuse to understand it, please do. I think a lot of people were tuning in to some of that stuff because they wanted to see if Beck was going to say anything about Amber. Because a lot of the comments and questions were about Amber. Somebody says, if these are the worst things you need to take accountability for, you're doing fucking great, Beck. There's one thing in here that really wasn't great, but I'm pretty sure you've already addressed it. You weren't even the one who made the direct action. You are not responsible for other people's actions. You are not an enabler to Amber. You are not to be the strong one in the relationship. You are allowed to struggle just like your partner can. The difference is your struggles don't involve being abusive. Not having the energy to help others doesn't mean you're an enabler. And dude, people were extreme towards you over the flag and the hand. Not everyone, but people were. I saw it. Yeah, you crashed out, but damn, being attacked online has to be rough. And then this one person says, my one criticism is that I don't think people will stick around if we're just watching screensavers while you talk. Would love to see you to feel more connected. Oh my god. Um, um, yeah. Let's see. The Browse says, I hope Beck's version of the story regarding the stepsister was true. Because if the other version is true, then maybe they were flirting with her, leading to Amber wanting them to quit. Yeah, it could be. I mean, we know the situation with Destiny and Dana, giving Amber issues with having a partner working outside of the home because of the jealousy and abandonment issues that Amberlynn has. But yeah, yeah, I hope Beck's version of that is also true. Again, we don't have proof either way. My question would be why would Pam, we're gonna keep calling her Pam, why would Pam bring that story? According to Beck, Pam didn't like Norma, so I guess Pam thought it would be a good idea to attack Norma's kid, and say that Beck was trying to get with her daughter. I don't know. It's all really absurd. But again, we don't have any proof either way. Beck rarely shows any proof for any of the things that they allege against Amber or anybody else. There are rarely any receipts, and I think that's one of the issues that some people have, is people will believe anything that Beck says. But if somebody comes out with evidence that contradicts that, it's fake. You know what I mean? So that's one of the issues that I have. But I do hope that Beck is doing well. Do I think that Beck and Dakota have broken up? No, I really don't think they have. If Beck is going to step away from YouTube, we won't know, right? Because I believe that Beck and Dakota live together because Beck isn't living with Logan. So I believe Beck and Dakota live together, and I don't think Beck could afford the place on their own, or that Dakota could afford a place on her own. So they're going to continue to live together, at least for a little while, I'm sure, unless one of them decides to move out or go find a roommate. So what Beck said in the community post was, you will not see or hear about her again. We'll see. I personally, I don't think they've broken up. But we'll see. Yeah. I don't really know how much Beck addressed in the few things. I'm still sus on the GoFundMe, and for the stepsister thing, I don't know. Right? I don't know. If Amberlynn were to come on, I hate to make it about Amberlynn, but I'm just doing this to point out the double standard that we have between Beck and Amberlynn. if Amber Lynn came on and just said, no, that didn't happen, I didn't do that, that didn't happen that way, nobody would believe Amber Lynn. They would demand receipts, they would demand proof. But nobody does that to Beck. They automatically are like, all right. So we very much have a double standard. So for me, if I'm expecting Amber Lynn to show me proof of something, that I should also expect Beck to show me proof. I'm not going to treat them differently when it comes to proof on situations, right? Because we have seen Beck lie about things in the past as well, right? Beck lied to the audience about not having a job after breaking up with Amber. We saw that in text messages from Amber Lynn, where Beck was like, I don't want to tell them that, you know, basically saying, no, we're not telling them that we're still hanging out because I'll lose my audience and I lost my job and I need the money from it, right? I need the money from my YouTube. So we've seen Beck lie about these things in the past as well. So if we're demanding proof from one, we need proof from the other. But it is late. Yeah, well, Browse, we also have proof that Beck has lied. We have proof that Beck has lied about things as well, the Browse. So, I am hungry. I need to go get some dinner. And I need to, it's 7:30. I need to sign in to do some work. It's been 2.5 hours. God damn. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry for keeping you here for 2.5 hours. It's also getting dark. But we are going to call it a night. Thank you also so much for being here. I appreciate you spending some of your time with me, especially if you've been here the whole 2.5 hours. Damn. I am so sorry. Nakana says, people say Beck uses AI to write their scripts and possibly Dakota helps. Oh, I have pop-ups blocking my view. I'm inclined to suspect this. It was the case in the past, and Dakota continues to be involved in crafting Beck's. I 100% think that Beck is using AI to write part of the scripts, or Dakota is helping. 100%. 100%. Beck isn't that well. Beck isn't well spoken, and I doubt that Beck is very well written. So, but thank you all so much for spending a little bit of your evening with me. I hope you have a wonderful night. And tomorrow's Thursday. I don't think we're going to go live tomorrow because I have a lot of work I need to do. And I've already cut into my work time this evening. So, hope you have a wonderful night. And until next time, be safe and take care.